We're back at the Ali Pali for the final again. Last year, it ended in heartbreak. This year, hopefully, the opposite. The only thing that stands between us and the DAFABET Masters Trophy and £200,000 is the Welsh potting machine, Mark Williams. Hello there folks, and welcome to part 24 of Season 2 of our Neil Robertson Pro career on Snooker 19. And today is the time for even, not the start, well, it technically is the start, just get on with it Toby. It's the start of the DAFABET Masters final. Today we will play the first 5 frames, establish who's going to be leading coming into the second half of the match. But even though it's not going to be the only episode today, this first 5 frames go a long way towards deciding who is going to hold that DAFABET Masters Trophy. And a £200,000 cheque aloft. Now, we played a different Mark in the final last year. That was Mark Allen. And we lost in heartbreaking circumstances by 6 frames to 5 in a decider. I really want to avoid that today. And what better to go and have whooped Judd Trump in the semi-final by 4 frames to 4. Beaten Mark Allen 4 frames to 2. And also Stephen Maguire in the first round. I am full of confidence. Don't want to get too complacent. But it is obvious. We have only won the Scottish Open so far. The Masters would be absolutely huge compared to that. Now, not a ranking event, I completely understand that, and that is why we're only 10th in the rankings. But our street cred would definitely improve if we went and won this tournament, beat some of the best in the game. I mean, look at that. Judd Trump 2nd, Mark Allen 3rd, Mark Williams 4th in the rankings. The only player we haven't faced and not beaten is Mark Selby. And of course, Mark Williams up to yet. And we also did beat Stephen Maguire to get here. It was a serious achievement just to get to the final. And now, let's go and win it. Here we go then for the final of the DAFABET Masters. Leave your predictions down in the comments. How do you think we'll get on? Don't be all nasty and say that Mark Williams will win 6-0, because that's probably what will happen. But I'm really excited for this final. My first final since the Shanghai Masters final, which all went to pot because of a game glitch and the scores went back to normal. But if I remember rightly, in the Shanghai Masters, we faced Mark Williams in the semi-final. And we had an absolutely torrid start. Now, granted, that was over our best of, I think, 19. We went something like 4-0 down. And there he is. The Welsh potting machine, Mark Williams. The only man that stands between us and the trophy. There he is. The first man to come out and take his seat in the Ali Pali in front of an adoring crowd. 2 players with plenty of credit here. Mark Williams, of course, and Neil Robertson, both world champions. And we're here for the 2nd time in a row. Last year we couldn't do it, but this year, on the back of a fantastic dominant victory against Judd Trump, and arguably a dominant victory against Mark Allen, there it is, the DAFABET Masters Trophy. We play a best of 11. The first player to get 6 frames will be the champion of the DAFABET Masters. We don't come here to be a runner-up again. That's not what we've come here to be. There's no way we want to be a runner-up again. Second best is no good. And that is about as good an opportunity as you could possibly get to have a good start to a break. We can't be silly though here.
Tricky pot, no doubt.
Just play with a sensible amount of power, get the ball potted, and make sure we open ourselves up to the black. We've got our first pot of this final. A little bit of a weak break off there from Mark Williams, and that will definitely help. But you'll notice in the earlier rounds and in some of the matches, I talked a load of drivel, didn't talk that much, talked a lot. Today, I'm not going to talk that much. Today, it is all about focusing on the job in hand. We've done so well to get here. What's the point of jeopardising that now? But we're going to take a risk here fairly early on. We're going to hit the red and hopefully pot it and then get into the reds and see what the split's like. Red's there. That's the most important thing. And that is a good split. And the black is open, but also the blue is open. That's the ball I would fancy a lot more at the moment. And that is possibly the best start we could have made to this final. Not bad at all, is it? Brilliant.
The long pot's on.
Got to get this blue, though, or else we just hand Mark Williams this frame on a plate, which he basically has done for us. He's really handed us this on a plate. Equally, though, you've still got to pot the balls. And this is a little bit tight because of the nature of how strong apart the reds are. And bear in mind, I haven't played the game for a few weeks as well. Well, not a few weeks, that's a lie. For bit of time. For a period of time I haven't played the game.
Looking at potting this into the
So
right
the last thing
corner
we want to be is rusty. But based on this start, we are okay.
Brimming with confidence and on a bit of a roll at the moment.
I'm going to just go for the yellow. Just going to go for the yellow here. Don't want to do anything too silly. Just make sure we can pot the balls at the end of the day.
He's going for the left corner pocket.
Doesn't matter which one it is. Yes, limits the break potentially. And we could have the high break of the tournament, you know. I think that 1-2-7 was it. Of course, Mark Williams will probably just go and get a 1-4-7 just to spite me today. Or equally, I suppose we could go and get one. But not in this frame, of course. But let's see how we get on. Just trying to pot every ball, get into the swing of things, and get a rhythm. That is the most important thing in these finals. And ultimately, you never get into your rhythm until you win your first frame. So that's exactly what we're attempting to do early on here. Make Mark Williams sit in his chair as much as possible this first frame. Make him sweat. Make him know that this is a good opponent that he's taking on. Not the Neil Robertson who bottles things and loses matches and doesn't get anywhere. The Neil Robertson who wins. The Neil Robertson who battered Judd Trump. The Neil Robertson who has beaten Judd Trump, Mark Allen to get here. And a Neil Robertson that is very surprised that he's not taking on Mark Selby in this final. Just revolving around the blue a little bit here, just to try and get into the swing of things. And that's not the best shot, but there's not a fat lot we could have done about that. Really isn't the best shot, actually. And these reds along the cushion are always a risk. So I'm going to have a look at what else we can take on. Obviously, that one we can take on. Have a go at that. There's a tight angle on that, but those are always a little bit unpredictable. That red actually isn't a bad idea if it goes, of course. Should do. Again, you don't want to make any silly mistakes, and something that you might well think is obvious isn't always obvious. And there's an element of risk to this shot, but I'm happy to take it on.
Well,
And it's there, lovely pot.
Superb pot.
Our position there wasn't the best, but we made the most of it.
Excellent position.
30.
And again, our position's a bit weak here, so just go for the yellow. Try and structure things a little bit better. Get a little bit of top,
This into the
go off the
left
ball
corner
cushion, and
pocket.
hopefully come back to somewhat a decent position.
No issues there.
Simply wonderful.
A little bit unorthodox in this first round, I will admit. You can tell we've not quite found our rhythm because we're a bit all over the place. And we're not taking on the easiest pots possible, but at the moment we're doing okay on them.
He's aiming for the left corner here.
This is trickier than it may seem, but looks about on target, and it is. Lovely.
In it goes.
Move the black, hopefully it doesn't end up behind the red.
Really good.
That was a nice shot.
33.
Just a soft one on this.
Just wants this
Nice and
pot
delicate for the black.
into the pocket.
And the black's back on its spot. That's one of the aims, of course. And for anyone that might possibly be new
40.
to the channel, I did summarise my journey really to here in the introduction.
Drop gently into
But we did get here last year, and we lost to Mark Allen in the final, and from then we never really pushed on. But I think if we can do something here today, with the form we're in, we can really push on. And in this career mode so far, we have never really performed at the ranking events. Again, we won the Scottish Open, but
48.
again, we haven't got to a ranking final this year. I think a quarter final is possibly the furthest we've got to, whereas we've got to both the Masters finals. And as you would probably guess, because we haven't got a Shanghai Masters in the trophy cabinet,
Position to take on a colour.
we did lose that to Mark Selby.
49.
But here there's a clean slate, you know, no excuse we can use like the game or an off day today. There is no excuse we can use, and we're off to a good start here.
56.
And as usual, we've got the dog who's barking. That's another thing that sets the tone for a bit of routine in this video, doesn't it? The dog
well. He's
barking
taking
in the
it
garden.
on. Excellent pot.
Great cueing.
57.
57 is the current break. Just a few more balls to tie up this frame. Might just take on the green here to give us a little bit more control in our backspin, because it's a bit of a straighter shot, obviously.
Well, he's looking at potting this into the right corner.
It seems silly to take on something that's laden with risk and potentially lose the frame by a few points when you know there's an obvious green on.
60.
But I'm happy with this start, very happy.
Coming up here.
We look clean, we look on target. A little bit rusty with our position, you could argue.
Excellent shot.
But that pretty much confirms the frame.
No real way for his opponent to win
The best
frame
thing
now.
for us to go and do now, well, I suppose, firstly, is to cement that we do win this frame and he doesn't win it through snookers. But equally, wouldn't it be great to go and get a ton to start this match off?
68.
Again, this is our 4th final in our Snooker 19 career. And we've only won 1 of them so far. 1 in 3. Let's go and make it 2 in 4. And starting this match off well, which we have done it seems, is only going to help that cause. In these, I always find, again, I'm not a final specialist, so I can't talk too frankly about this, but
Wonderful shot.
that was a bit silly. If it were any bigger, I think we'd have not been on the red, but luckily we just about are. But, again, one of the most important bits of advice is you don't get on your serious form until you get your first frame, but equally, to treat each frame as different. Each frame is an opportunity.
75.
You know, we performed some brilliant comebacks in our time, but equally, we've been subject to some massive comebacks in our time. Where's that cue ball going? Where's that cue ball? It's okay. It's going to be a long pot on the red.
82.
This isn't easy.
It's a tricky pot. Wouldn't be surprised if we missed this. No, looks a little bit off to me, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We don't quite make a ton, but with a break of 82, we take the first frame from Mark Williams. He's only had 1 shot so far, and that was a poor break off. Led to a straight red, and we take the lead in the Masters final.
This is a great opportunity to really turn the screw on his opponent.
Thank you.
Again, as I said, just the first 5 frames today, but I feel from that you can get a good picture of who's on top. Someone's going to be leading anyway. Shame that wasn't a little bit further to the other side because we would have snookered in behind the brown. But that is a good break off. Of course, doesn't give Mark Williams any sort of chance of getting a pot. But one thing that we're not very good in longer matches is our safety. We'll completely admit that. And that's a very tidy shot. Just about, I mean, that is the tightest of angles possible. He can't quite get to that red. So, going to have to get inventive here. Open the reds up a little bit, but not exploit ourselves too much. Hopefully this comes, that should be nice. It's going to run a little bit short. And it is going to give Mark Williams a chance on the red. If we'd have hit it a little bit harder, we'd have got it behind the blue. And there he goes. That's his first pot. Is it going to be like the last frame? Is it going to be one-way traffic but in the other way? These finals can always, and they have to be fair, when I've played finals on Snooker 19, there's never really a dominant leader, apart from when Selby was 6-1 up against us in the Shanghai Masters final. But anyway, we did bring that back, to be fair, to, I think it was 7-5.
Nicely on.
But as I said, these finals are always 1 frame to 1 frame to the next, so
16.
you've got to develop a little bit of momentum, but that was a little bit unfortunate, but it's still very early on yet. So for all of you going, well, he's on a 1-4-7. He's had he potted 3 reds.
Delicate touch required here.
This is an important pot.
24.
It's a little bit loose, but if you can get an angle on this, you should be able to open up the reds. That's nice. Very nice pot.
The split looks good to me.
Not any less than you'd expect from Mark Williams. And the way he's going with potting these blacks, you'd be a little bit fearful.
So, this pot into the right corner.
33.
Good stuff.
Yeah, played it well.
Well, I don't think Mark Williams is feeling any pressure at the moment after our break. And when it's another player making that break, it looks so much easier.
41.
He's keeping in and around the black. And to be fair, he is on a 1-4-7 here.
48.
And the way he's going, he could... well, unless he makes a huge balls up, he's going to beat our 1-2-6, I would say, the way he's going. All depends on this shot.
56.
There's a route through to that middle pocket, isn't there, with that red, I would say. Looking at a top-down view.
No more than half a chance.
Oh, bloody hell, he's going for that one, is he? Should be okay. That's a lovely pot. And that's the sort of pot that when they go in, you have to say, well, the player deserves the frame.
57.
But he's done very well so far as Mark Williams. Credit to him. And it seems, after these first 2 frames, it's just going to become a best of 9. And that's how it happens sometimes. Look at the Masters final last week between Ali Carter and Bingham. That was really close run. One player would get 2 frames ahead, the other one would pull back.
Half chance.
I can see this final going like that as well. Unless Mark Williams really gets in his stride, which would make us worry. But he's still staying around that black. 6 reds to go.
65.
This black will pretty much rule us out, I would say, this frame. Certainly another red would. 9 reds, 9 blacks. This is a very solid start. And there you go. But he looks like he's going to take on the blue, so he's giving up the 147, which is a little bit of a shame. I wouldn't have minded him going for that. But where is that red going? Where's the red going? Oh, wow. A little bit of luck there. But 2 solid breaks, and it's 1 each. He should get a century from here, you would think. He's going to speed things up a bit because he's already won the frame, so... Black will make it 92. Another red, another black, and he's on a ton.
92.
These cutbacks are a little bit trickier than you might think, but it's there.
93.
And this black will make the first century of the match. All from that little opportunity of leading that 1 red. The margin for error is incredible.
100.
Certainly been one-way traffic in both frames.
101. 108.
And hopefully we can take the initiative in the 3rd frame.
109.
I would say he'd beat our high break. I don't know what the high break is currently out of everybody, but he'll certainly beat ours. This is a 114 chance for a 139 here.
107.
That's a little bit loose. But he's still got it.
That's a great pot.
So this will make it 126. The pink will beat our best break. It seems fairly obvious from that. It's a very good position to start with. 133. And I think it's going to be the high... Sorry, 132. This will be a 139. What a break from Mark Williams.
Great clearance.
Is he feeling the pressure? I wouldn't say so. I feel a little bit worried after that break. But even so, every frame counts exactly the same. Every frame means the same. So whether you win it by 1 point or 140,
It's tight, isn't it?
it's still a
Just
frame.
when you think
And it's
one
1
player
each in
is
this
starting to
final.
dominate, there's an immediate comeback.
Hopefully no one lets off a whoopee cushion in this final.
Thank you. The 3rd frame. Mark Williams to break.
That's better. That's better from Mark. He's learned from that first frame. We're going to play things nice and carefully. Not an aggressive shot. And hopefully this shouldn't leave anything silly on. But it hasn't made it. Wow.
Foul and a miss.
Well,
4.
doesn't matter at the moment particularly. Oh, we've done it again, haven't we? Although that seems to have a little bit more pace on it. Come on, come on.
He'll be really annoyed with that foul. Lack of composure, perhaps.
Foul and a miss. Mark
Well,
Williams, 4.
we need to get this sorted because
I have to warn
if we
you,
miss
if you
this,
fail to hit a ball on this stroke, the frame will be awarded
we
to the opponent.
lose the frame.
To be careful not to.
And that'll
overdo
that'll
this.
make it. There you go. That's fine. But goodness me, that was scary. If we miss that, we'd jeopardise the frame. But where's the cue ball? Oh, it's okay. That's not bad. Maybe a little bit pacey, if anything. But gets it back up to the bulk. And this might well be a bit more of an interesting frame. He might have a pop at the red. Is he going to? No, not with that sort of shot. But, oh, dear. That kiss on the black's a bit more than a kiss, I suppose. That's not helped him. But unfortunately for us, Unless we take on a plant, which I'm just not going to do. There isn't much chance for pot, but there is a bit of a shot to nothing on here, I would say.
This won't be easy.
But you know what? In a frame like this, it just seems silly to take it on, doesn't it? Might come to regret that. But safety sometimes is better. We've been known way too much in the past for being a little bit too hasty, having a whack and gifting our opponent the frame. I mean, admittedly, by being a little bit too soft on those two shots, we nearly very much gifted our opponent the frame. But he's gone for the red. He's not going to fluke one, is he? He's not. Way too much power with that. But it was a bit of a shot to nothing, wasn't it? But because that red's travelled back up, that is I wouldn't say a nice, easy starter, but a decent starter for us if we can actually get the pot. These middle pockets aren't very forgiving. But that is the first pot of the frame. I like all these things. We need to make sure, pardon me, getting all too excited now. We need to make sure that Mark Williams regrets even thinking about that pot.
What a top pot that was.
Thank you very much. Just see if there's anything else on before we take on a more awkward pot. I think this is probably the best chance. It's a little bit awkward. But hopefully we'll be okay.
Playing for the middle pocket.
Line looks good. Plenty of pace. And it's dropped in. Nice.
8.
Might as well go for the green here. Give it a whack and hope for the best.
Power on this shot. Not the best position.
And unbelievably, it's missed all the reds. Oh dear. Well, that just happens sometimes. Any way through? I don't think so. Which means there won't be any way through for Mark, so... Seems sensible enough to play up to these, unless I miss something.
Neil Robertson, 11.
No, just playing away from the reds. I'm going to try and get back up to the bulk here.
This red.
Well, we're going to go for a tight cut on the red as well. Nowhere near, but that's not bad. Go on, stop, 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 stop. Ooh, a little bit awkward, but not too bad at all. Good safety from both players so far. Ooh, that's a chance. Really is a chance, and we're going to take it, I think.
But a chance nonetheless.
And it's there.
Fabulous effort. That's a great.
Right. Attempt 2 to go and win this frame.
1.
Take the blue on this time. That was one of our problems last time. We took on the pink and we're a little bit out of position already. We're a lot more comfortable with the blue, so just stay on the blue.
6.
But as you witnessed in the last frame, Mark Williams doesn't need a second invitation to go and win a frame, so we need to take this opportunity. Get on the pink. It's all so much easier, isn't it, when you're watching somebody else do a break? Really is.
He's attempting to sink this.
Need to hit this at about the right pace. That'll do. Perfect. It's lined up for the red nicely.
Down it goes.
And equally, just means we can get the black back on its spot.
13.
Might be a little bit awkward here, so unless we just, I suppose, play it like this. But as I said in the first frame, I think, getting the black back on its spot is something that can be absolutely crucial. And to be fair, ending back up here wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But with the line of that black, it makes things a lot trickier. I'm not too confident here. I have to say, if we ended up more further up, that red might well still be available. Get it more towards the cushion, because I think that would allow for more of a chance. Don't want to end up in the pocket, though. But let's see what the chance is here. Let's have a look. No. Ooh. No, it goes. I would say it goes.
He's aiming to sink this into the right corner.
Good pot.
Beautiful.
Great
A little bit
skill there.
overdone for the black, but not too bad.
22.
Certainly still pot it. Options are a little bit short though after that, unfortunately. So we've got to experiment with something here potentially. And I think the black might well be the wrong move. So the red will pass, I would say. Yeah. Let's get ourselves lined up for this one. Oops.
We know what
That trajectory's not going to help anything, is it? So
I'd assume he'd take this on.
take on the blue. We need the power. We need the pace. We need the pace. Well, that certainly hasn't got any sort of decent pace to it, has it? It's the problem sometimes. If you underhit, it can be costly. And this is a far more interesting frame now. Got it back up to bulk. About as good as we could have done.
Neil Robertson.
Because this, unlike the first two frames, is incredibly scrappy. And he's let us back in again. That is amazing. With two opportunities, and I think this tight one's probably going to be the best opportunity, I would say. Got to pot it though. We took a risk there with the amount of power we had on it, but it was a good
Be
pot.
happy with that. Top shot.
And funnily enough, through no attempt to get on the blue, we are pretty much dead on straight on the blue. If you've got your protractor out, might be a few little... What's a percentage of a degree? Don't know. Is there a word for 0.1 of a degree? Oh, I don't care. Let's not get involved with that mumbo jumbo. Red, then pink. I think little by little we're going to do this.
Decent position to take on a colour here.
7.
That could be a bit off. That could be a bit off. Come on. Come on, snooker gods. Well.
Neil Robertson.
Oh, dear.
1.
That's bad. That's a worry. That was our first mistake. You don't get many chances. But he's not elected to pot anything there. So all is not lost. And that's very good safety, by the way. It's got to be our best option, you would think, wouldn't it?
This looks to be a pretty simple safety here.
Where's the red going? Oh, well. I'm glad it bounced off, or else it would have been another easy pot for Mark. This is a tense frame. And I think frames like this are going to be really important in the grand scheme of the match. Hit the blue. That isn't going to help him. Is he going to get away with it? No, he's not. Well. Kiss on one of the colours can sometimes be really detrimental, and it really has been there. But that is... Oh, come on, Toby. Sorry, Neil. Get into character. Luckily, we got away with that, but that wasn't good enough because now we're just going to be exposed for every single ball, and we're going to have to work the position back. Pink's there okay, though, and I think we've recovered that fairly well.
7.
Good recovery shot. Or else it'd have been real squeaky bum time. But we're back in control. Just the 4 reds to go. As long as we keep potting the reds, we'll get it before the colours, no problem. Currently 38 ahead. This will put us 45 ahead with 4 reds left. So, not in frame winning territory just yet. But I'm getting another 2 reds. Another 2 reds
15.
would give us a good chance to win the frame.
Pace is very important.
16.
But this is bloody well, yeah. This is going to be bloody tight. And if it works, it's a bloody miracle.
Important pot here. Tremendous pot.
That's not bad at all. Just what we wanted.
Waits for his opponent to win the frame now.
22.
And you could hear Fold said there, that's pretty much the frame done. Barring anything silly.
He's just looking to drop this in.
These are tricky. But it's dropped.
23.
Nice. Get the pink. And I don't see Mark Williams going back to the table. So that's why I don't really give a monkeys about position here.
This is an easy.
Just don't want to snooker ourselves. So there's 43 remaining.
59.
We are 59 ahead. He could come back. But yeah, he needs a good amount of snookers. And with that, I think we've actually snookered him.
Neil Robertson, 29.
I think there's a little bit sticking out. But he has resigned to the fact
That's the
that it's
frame
our
in the
frame.
bag.
And we take the lead again. A much
Nudged in front.
closer, much further thought out
At the moment,
frame.
pleased with that last frame.
In the first two frames on the timer, I think only took, what, about 15 minutes? That frame, I'm guessing, took about 15 minutes by itself. That could be a good break-off. Not quite. Not quite getting the snooker, but not too bad. Where's the cue ball going? Where's the cue ball going? Well, talk about getting away with things. Goodness me. Ooh.
He's taking it on.
Don't hit the reds, whatever you do. So he does. But luckily, it was an inspired choice. Sometimes you just have a feeling about those sort of pots. Just have a bit of an inkling that, yeah, I fancy that.
Playing for the middle pocket. That's a top shot.
Come on, come down.
Outstanding
Hopefully the
effort.
black doesn't block anything here. I mean, that's not too bad. Not the red I was going for, but at least, well, we can get on two, can't we? But I think I'll take this on. Open it up for the pink. The black, obviously, is very tight, so wouldn't want to go for that at this point. But equally, we don't want to play anything too hard.
This looks relatively easy.
Relatively easy. You get out there, Folds, and play the bloody pot then.
7.
I know you were the world number 3, but, you know, you're not that good. Only joking. Right.
He just wants to slot this into the middle.
Only a small chance here. But you've got to take those small sniffs. And I know it's very early in the frame to be talking about this, but if we can take a 3-1 lead, this early stage in the match would be massively beneficial.
14.
This is going to be a struggle. Certainly from this position. Got to think a bit outside the box.
Now, can he
Got to
drop
get the
this
pot
into the right
first.
corner?
Pot's tricky enough. That looks good. A little bit underplayed, but as long as it sort of passes the pink.
19.
Okay, I'll take that. I can take that. Now, when I first played Snooker 19, these on the cushion pots would be pots I would never take on. And I'm not too keen on them now, but if you haven't noticed, there's not really much more of a potting opportunity, so go for the pink here just to open up the reds. That could be something I really regret doing if we miss.
That's a really
Pink's
good
there.
split, and this is a
And that is a very good split, as long as none of the reds pot or something stupid happens. But that's a very good split, good choice. And now this makes our job just that little bit easier. We've got a bit more margin for error. We can float about. You know, if we don't get on one red, there's a chance we'll probably get on another one. Good stuff. Still plenty of time to muck up this frame, of course. But the one thing I haven't said, which is very important, for my mentality, not for Mark Williams, because obviously
never hit this.
he's not taking a mid-session break. But for me, if we can get into that mid-session break after this episode, in front, whether it's 3-1, whether it's 3-2 or whatever,
35.
but if we have a lead, an advantage, it's something tangible. It's something that we can say, right, we're in control here. Not something to get cocky over.
42.
But something to think, right, we're doing well here. That was not great, to be honest. That wasn't there on that red. So we're just going to go for a thin cut on this one. Not much power involved.
This pot to drop into the pocket.
And it's there.
43.
It's tidy. However, position's not so tidy. I think the brownie is going to be simple enough.
He's playing this into the right centre pocket.
And it's there.
47.
But this is getting tight all of a sudden. Luckily, we positioned ourselves well for a nice straight red, just to get back on comfortable terms.
Very tricky shot coming up.
Been a good break so far, though, I would say, given the circumstances.
He's lost position here.
Although that could be end of break. Not well positioned at all there. Green's going to be our lifeline if we can get it.
This won't be easy.
But equally, it's a risky shot, because if we miss it, which we haven't... Oh, look at the gods there. If we'd have missed that, it would have let Mark Williams in.
What can he do here?
51.
It's been a bit of a sketchy frame so far, I'll admit, but we've been okay. We've got through it just for the moment.
52.
Play this with a bit more power. We might not do it in this visit, but every pot we
59.
get makes things a little bit easier, gives us a bit more control. And I have to say, these first 4 frames of the final have flown by.
60.
Really just got myself immersed in these frames, and I hope you guys have enjoyed as well. Really do, because I am massively enjoying the snooker stuff. I don't know if it's a revitalisation, I have to watch it on the TV again. And I'm not saying I wasn't enjoying it before, but I think playing well, it's obvious with anything. If you start to succeed, start to reap the rewards,
So, just
things
the
become a little bit more
rest of the
exciting. And yes, a DAFABET Masters final is a little bit more exciting than a round 1 match against
68.
David Lilly. That's not the best though, is it? Goodness me. That is really not the best. Does the blue pass? It doesn't. Oh dear. And that's crazily tight on the green. I think it might just be safety time, you know.
If he plays this shot well, he'll have his opponent in a spot of bother.
Hopefully we do. Not the best. But still requires snookers, and he's gone now. You're alright. So that's a bit of a surprise.
68.
But that does confirm after a break of 68, a little bit sloppy in terms of position there. If it were any earlier, we'd have cooked a bit of a sweat. But that frame now confirms, with 1 frame to go in the session, that we will lead going into the mid-session interval. Now, I don't want to get complacent or look forward too much,
Thank you to
but if we went and won this frame, we only require 2. But we are at least halfway there. And that is a good opportunity once again. Mark Williams breaks off. Breaks off. Oh, that's close. Oh, dear. Apart from the 1, was that in the 3rd frame? Can't remember now.
1.
That was very good. But apart from that, they've been a little bit weak.
Well, no surprises here with the...
And I'll tell you something, we're not going to do this in 1 visit.
He'll be fuming about that.
I am a bit fuming, but sometimes not much you can do about it.
He really doesn't want to underhit this shot.
Just get it behind the pink, that's the aim. Although that is a stupid oversight. Look at that red.
Be annoyed with that.
Oh, we can't get it, luckily.
Neil Robertson, 6.
That was a bit silly. Definitely was a bit silly. Well, just get it up the other end of the table. Come on, bulk colours, help us out. Okay, we'll take that. We will take that. Is it going to be one of them again? Oh, he's missed it. Foul and a miss.
Neil Robertson, 4. Free ball.
Let's see what he decides
Force him to
do
take that one
after
again.
foul.
And he has hit them this time. Don't really think there was anything else we could have done that would have been more beneficial. And if you do, well, it's too late now. Leave it down in the comments though, of course, if you've got any hints or tips about what have been the best course of action there. Come on, Brown. I'll buy you a Ferrari if this works. Come on, Brown. Thanks, Brown. You've just made me a lot poorer. Going to get an order in for a Ferrari now. But I might be able to, given that shot.
He's avoided the foul, but he's left.
If you wanted a chance to go 4-1 up, this isn't a bad one.
Decent position on the pink here.
Unfortunately, no Bingham or Carter in the final of this. Makes me incredibly upset. Well, come on, Toby. I think that does go at least. I didn't think it did, but it does pass. But I was thinking, well, there you go. We've mucked it up already. It does. It passes. Sometimes when you're in these positions, when you've got something definitely to fight for, you do get a little bit concerned that, oh dear, that does not look like it's going to go. So it's always worth having a double check. You can lose matches through not checking. Thinking, oh, that'll go, and then all of a sudden things start to happen. Pick a ball that you think will pot, and all of a sudden it cannons into 5 more. That can happen. It's happened before to me, definitely. And that can be really damaging.
16.
It's a good chance there to get into the reds.
Not a great.
Admittedly not the best split. Couldn't do too much about that.
23.
But that is a decent chance, actually. That's pretty straight. And we don't leave too much on if we don't pot it. So not too much of a risk. It's not the best angle to see. But that's in. Lovely.
And the cue ball has finished very nicely.
Let's try again.
Good split.
That's a bit better. That'll do. Ladies and gents, this is a perfect chance. Would you not agree? To go and take a 4-1 lead.
He just wants this to drop gently into the pocket.
What a great start to the Masters final. Already all 42 on the board. Doesn't feel like that many, I have to say. I know some of the shots we play are a bit unorthodox, but in terms of topspin, I'm never too comfortable with it. Because ultimately, you've got that bit of a lack of control, haven't you? But with backspin, you always know what's going to happen.
Tricky pot.
To a degree, as long as you hit it at the right pace. Unlike that.
That's a fabulous pot.
Position looks
But the black's still
very good.
achievable.
He's played that very well.
38.
And it's there.
45.
We're looking good here. This wasn't the intended red, but get that one out of the way. I'm not going to
He does it.
moan about that.
46.
And I think you can tell, I would say we found our rhythm. Really say we have. Not over yet, this frame, so don't want to jinx anything.
53.
But we certainly look good.
He's lining this up into the right middle pocket.
54.
Admittedly, the Ali Pali's not been treated to much of a matchup so far. Am I particularly bothered about that? Not really. Obviously, these things are sweeter if you do sometimes win through a better match, but
59.
I mean, I'm already talking about winning. That's way too complacent. Just shut up.
The red.
You heard folds. Just this red needed to take a 3-frame lead
Tremendous pot. Brilliant.
going into the mid-session interval.
Shuts the door on his opponent.
I wish I knew what the score was last year at this point. That would be fascinating. But unfortunately, I don't. It would have been close. I would have presumed it would probably be 3-2, I would say. Probably to Mark Allen.
67.
That's what I would guess.
This is a challenging shot along the cushion.
Challenging, worth a sniff, though. And not quite. Is he going to come back?
67. Frame conceded.
No, he's not.
Neil Robertson.
And with that, we take an excellent lead. An absolutely fantastic lead. I am chuffed with that. Absolutely chuffed. And with that, that is where the mid-session interval is going to take place. I'm going to take a glass of water, a very big glass of water, because it'll be a few days until the second session. But we have a very exciting second session to come. Will Mark Williams be revitalised? Will we just get on with it and win this at a canter? But we've certainly gone a good way towards that. I was talking about before the match started out, those first 5 frames can definitely start to determine who might well win the match. And in my opinion, we've got a very, very good chance now. But be back in a few days for that video. Of course, hit the subscribe button. You'll get a notification as soon as that video drops. If you're watching this in the playlist, you can go and watch that video straight away. Well, lucky you. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you did enjoy that. I certainly did. Comment as well your thoughts and different thoughts on the final. How do you think the final score will be? But ladies and gents, that £200,000 cheque looks very lucrative at the moment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in a few days. Goodbye for now.